And good morning, as it is the weekend of the Eagles' the Eagles' game against Kansas City, which would be Sunday. We'll talk about it. I will have Marc Lawrence on to talk about it as the King speaks. Charles Barkley said he wanted a different name other than the Howard Eskin Show, but you know what? Hey, it's the Howard Eskin Show, presented by the great people at Stillwell Financial Advisors. Jeff Stillwell, you better better worry about. Actually, you shouldn't worry about your future. You should set yourself up for your future. Uh, any wealth that you want to invest, Jeff Stillwell can do it. Knows his stuff. Sharp guy. Just give him a call. Talk it over with him and see what you think. 732 343 0813. 732 343 0813. All right. Today, we're going to talk about obviously the biggest topic is the Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. I know the Eagles are a better team. I know they're a better team, but the best team doesn't always win the game. They are in a the Eagles are in a tough situation because Kansas City's in a tough situation. If Kansas City loses, the percentages after you're 0-2 of making the playoffs goes down below 50%. The number one seed, you can just forget about it because it's almost zero chance of making the number one seed. So, and the Eagles have an injury. But also, if you want to join, and some people have already joined, let me just show you something to make it, we're trying to make it easy for you. All right. Click on the link, which obviously people know it's on the chat screens there. Go to the prompt where it says, would like to access the microphone and camera. You've got to hit allow. Now, if you don't want the camera, then you can cross the camera out. But you got to have the audio. Make sure you click the arrow to allow the microphone and video, enter your name, join the waiting room, and then when we see you there in the waiting room, we'll bring you up. It's if you're using an iPad or iPhone, be sure to use Safari Internet Browser. So hopefully that explains this to people. Again, we will have Marc Lawrence on to take a look at the picks. But before, it's just no Dallas Goedert. So Grant Calcaterra is going to be, it's good tight end. Once they traded for a running back this week, you knew there was a problem. Will Shipley has an oblique injury. He's out. Will Shipley's a backup. However, he's done a nice job for the Eagles. And with that being the case, you're not going to have him. And I think he's going to be out for multiple weeks. An oblique injury is no joke. Again, Marc Lawrence will join us. We'll give you the winner of the Oakley sunglasses from the last show. And we have a giveaway for today. It's a Mike Schmidt autographed poster that was given away years ago by the Phillies. And I personally had Mike Schmidt autograph it. So that will be the giveaway today for a question towards the end of the show. But before we get to the callers, and we'll go to the callers before Marc Lawrence, I want to tell you about the wonderful people that have partnered up with this program, been a part of this show. And one of those people is Audi Westchester. Now, I stopped there yesterday. And I'm talking about the sale they have going on. It's really going well. You can lease a new 2025 Audi Q6 e-tron for $499 a month, or an Audi Q4 e-tron for $399 a month. You'll need $5,295 down for the Q6 and $4,156 down for the Q4, plus taxes and registration fees. So here's the deal. They told me it's going so well, and it's going to be gone probably in the next couple of weeks. And you may not have the vehicles either. You may not have the vehicles. So you may not have them because the sale has gone so well that people have leased and have gotten these cars. So he who hesitates is lost. Don't think about it when it comes October 1st, especially with the fact that um, the tax credit for electric cars goes away unless the White House changes their mind for the 975th time, or maybe the 5,675th time. But right now, it's going away the end of September. So check out Audi Westchester, 4021 Wilmington Pike. Great facility. Grab a cup of coffee, some snacks, look at a new vehicle. The 2025 Q6 Audi for $499 a month, or the Q4 for $399 a month. Audi Westchester. Check it out, AudiWestchester.com. Also, Piazza Property Pros. See this? This is what they can do to your property. Besides building pools, 25 years of experience does this. You see the hot tub, you see the fire pit. You can do all kinds of things. You can do a bunch of different things, and you can put an in-ground pool. Now, you want to make sure that you don't procrastinate on this either, because you've lost this summer, but make sure you have next summer, whether it's landscaping, pool maintenance, building a new pool. Piazza Property Pros. Give them a call, 610-566-2608. I'm telling you, check it out. Again, he who hesitates, you don't procrastinate with these kind of things. Just say, I'm doing it. Give them a call for a free consultation. That's 610-566-2608, or check them out at piazzaoutdoor.com. All right. So this is a big, big weekend for the Eagles. I think because the Kansas City Chiefs are in a desperate mode, this makes it a tough situation. The Eagles are the favorite in this game. When's the last time Kansas City's been? I'll ask Marc Lawrence that. The last time Kansas City's been an underdog at home. It has to be quite a while. All right, so we have some callers there before we get to Marc Lawrence. Joe, do we have a okay. Okay. All right, let's go to George.
Okay.
George, welcome again to the show.
Hey, thank you for the simple dummy signing instructions.
Okay. All right, stay still there, George. Stay still.
I'm looking at the line of the Eagles game, and I don't usually touch Eagles games at all because my heart's in the game.
Yeah.
But I'm going to agree with you 150%. Kansas City wins this game. Patrick Mahomes is an underdog at home. And in the situation that you talked about, I agree with you. I think Kansas City wins the game. Not saying the Eagles aren't the better team, but like you said, there's certain circumstances that exist in games. Now, my question to you is also, what's your thoughts on the first 4 weeks of an NFL season? I look at it as basically preseason for the starters because we don't.
Yeah, because nobody played. Well, Kansas City. Here's the difference, though. You say that Kansas City played their starters. Even the last preseason game, they played the quarterback. They played their starters. So technically, now they lost to a good team last week. They lost to the Chargers, and the Chargers are a good team. I don't know what Jim Harbaugh did in his preseason about playing the starters, but I know Justin Herbert played their quarterback. So the Eagles didn't take a snap in the preseason. Their starters didn't take a snap. Is that okay? You're still going to have injuries, as the Eagles had. The Eagles had injuries. So the reality is the Eagles had injuries.
Are you for the starters playing in the preseason? From listening to you, you sound like you are. I mean, I remember the old.
You got to play them some. You got to play them some for no other reason to feel contact. It's for the quarterback knows that he's, when you practice, and the joint practice that they had with Cleveland, the quarterback can't be touched. So, okay, Jalen Hurts ran the ball, looked fine the first game. He got a feel of it, but you haven't gotten everything. You haven't gotten everything. And now, is that going to make a difference in this game? The fact that I think the difference in this game is Kansas City is desperate. Kansas City is desperate.
Correct. I think they win the game with that theory. Usually a desperate team, and like you said, them going 0-2. I mean, just look at the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I don't want to sound like I'm analytics, but there's certain numbers forever that have existed. An 0-2 team Getting into the playoffs is one thing, but being the number one ranked team in the conference is another. And I think you're right. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, I won't touch it because my heart's still involved in the game. You know what I mean? Being an Eagles fan.
Yep.
The MLB. Thoughts on the Phillies? My thing is this with the Phillies. I have them getting knocked out, but I'm looking at the last 3 years. I'm looking at San Francisco here as a number 6 seed, and what that has occurred in the National League the last 3 seasons with the 6th seed. The Phillies are getting hot at the right time. I like that as a fan. But I've been telling people, watch San Francisco. Just the fact that they're getting hot at the right time. And amazing what they did is they sold their players. They traded their players away.
Here's the difference. If they are it's one of the top 2 seeds, which they're going to be, they get a bye, right?
If the top 2 seeds in each league get a bye, that's absolutely
correct.
A
bye is not good.
No, it's not, because you're right. You're right.
I don't think a bye is good
because you got that too much time period off of not being on the field. And that's what's happened in the National League. I mean, the Phillies were a 6 seed 2 years ago and got hot at the right time and continued to play. I agree. Some people go, well, wait a second. They get the rest. That's not good. That's not necessarily good.
No, it's just they're not the best team in the National League, and the best team doesn't always win, as we're saying in the Eagles-Kansas City game.
Correct.
So I don't like the Phillies lineup in the playoffs because it's better pitching. You're not going to face the Mets. Have just completely gone into the toilet. They're done. They're done. So the fact that you swept the Mets, great. It's great, and it's hard to sweep a team in a 4-game series. But the Mets just flat out quit. They are. I mean, they just got beat again last night. They're down 6-0 after the first inning.
In the term that you've used over the years, Howard, and I might piss off some of my Met friends, they're dogs. They're dogs.
Okay, they are dogs. All right, so your Eagles thoughts? You think they win? You don't want to say they're going to lose. Your thought?
Well, I'm looking at the number here. I would, if my friends ask me, they usually go, George, what's your thoughts on the Eagles game? I said, if you're going to bet this game, bet Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes is an underdog. I'm sorry, I'm not touching the Eagles.
Yeah,
wouldn't touch the Eagles.
Yep. So that's my thinking as well. All right. Hey, George, I appreciate you jumping in again.
Have a good one.
All right. Marc Lawrence will be on. Let's see if we can if these people have figured it out. Joe, do we have another caller before we go to Marc Lawrence? Okay. Okay, Paul. It's okay if you only have audio on it. You don't have to have your camera. Paul, go ahead.
How are you doing today, King?
I'm doing great. Another day in paradise. How are you doing?
I'm in paradise, Clearwater Beach.
And where?
Home of the spring training home of the Phillies. That's where I live now.
You're at Clearwater Beach. Well, it's nice of you to join in from Clearwater Beach.
Yeah, I called you from Hawaii the last time, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I got messages from last week, Ireland, India, and you were in Hawaii, which is still the United States, unless the president changes Hawaii and then makes them out. He just decides he's going to just move the geography of the world around. So I don't even get into that. But no, that was still the United States. But we had people from all over. So what's up there, Paul?
Well, I agree with you on the Eagles. All the trends say take Kansas City. So I don't usually touch the Eagles unless I think they're going to cover the spread. Actually, I've never bet against the Eagles. And then the Phillies, it's very interesting. I think we're only a game or two out of the first seed, potentially.
I think it's 2 losses. I think they're 2 losses out of the first seed.
Yeah, the bye is the problem.
But Milwaukee has the tiebreaker.
Yep. Yeah, I'm worried about the bye. It doesn't bode well for teams.
The bye doesn't do teams any good in baseball for whatever reason. What's interesting? The team that has the best record, I think the Phillies are 3 behind Milwaukee because Milwaukee won last night. The Phillies, the team with the best record in sports almost never wins a championship. That's really, and that's in all sports. In all sports, the team with the best record almost never wins a championship. So that I don't know that that's a good thing. I don't know that that's a good thing. But, we'll see when they get to the playoffs. And remember, right now, they're missing 2 guys out of the lineup, and they're doing fine. Bader's not going to lead off when Trey Turner comes back. You think he's going to be back for the playoffs. And then Alec Boehm. I don't know, and it's okay. Last night they got a good pitching effort, but without Wheeler, they're not as good. But they're a good team. I just don't think they're good enough to get to the World Series. I just don't think they're good enough.
So you kind of led into my question, other than the Eagles, part of why I'm on. So 4 big free agents for the Phillies next year: Harrison Bader, Ranger Suarez, Real Muto, and obviously Kyle Schwarber. Out of those 4, who do you think comes back?
What? Run that by me. I didn't hear that last part of it.
Sure. So there's 4 major free agents that the Phillies are going to have to try to sign or not sign next year.
Right.
So it's Ranger Suarez, Kyle Schwarber, Real Muto, and Harrison Bader are all free agents at the end of the year. They have to decide bring.
I think I don't know, unless Real Muto agrees to a 1-year deal. I wouldn't sign him. He always kind of breaks down. He's a catcher. I wouldn't sign him. Kyle Schwarber, I think, is going to get such good offers, and they have so many big contracts. I don't know if they're going to be able to sign him. And I don't want to hear about home down discount. Kyle Schwarber's been with so many teams. He does not have a problem changing teams, whether it's the Red Sox, which I think are going to be interested, and Cincinnati is his hometown. They're not that far away from being, a good team. And he would be an interesting addition. So that would be, it would be interesting. Out of those, Bader, they probably can get cheap. He's been with 6 teams, but it depends on what he wants. But I think, and Suarez, he's going to get good money. I don't think you're going to sign him because he's always hurt. Their contract situation's a problem. So that is the problem. All right, before we get to Marc Lawrence, and we're going to go to Marc Lawrence, before we get to Marc Lawrence, what do you think about the Eagles and Kansas City?
Wow. Well, the line is, as you always say, the line is telling me something. And I'm actually kind of tempted to bet the Eagles, but all the trends say no. So I'm just going to stay away from the game.
Well, yeah, but if you had to pick a side, you would pick the Eagles. You're
By
telling me.
1 point. By 1 point.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well,
then you lose the bet, but you win.
yeah. It's I'm not betting the Eagles because you think they're going to only win, or betting Kansas City because you only think they're going to win by 1 point. But
Well, I took Marc Lawrence's advice last week and took Iowa 3.5, and Iowa lost by 3.
well, yeah, but that's a football number. It's more of a football number. Hey, Paul, and Marc Lawrence is going to come on, and we'll listen to what he has to say with college and pro. Thanks, Paul, and enjoy Clearwater.
Always.
To stop off at the Palm Pavilion. Friends with
I'm actually probably going there today. In fact.
Okay. Say hello to Ken. All
Will
right.
do.
See you later. Take care. All right. So football this weekend. There's actually quite a few good college games. Pro card is, you don't know who's going to show up. The lines kind of fascinate me with the pros, but let's have Marc Lawrence join the program, and we'll take a look at Mark. How are you?
Hey, Howard. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. A lot of good college football games this year. First of all, before we get into the college football, one is not, you don't take a team because you think they're going to cover by a half a point. You hope they do if you take that side. But I'm not taking Kansas City because I think, or I'm not taking the Eagles because I think Kansas City's going to win by 1, as the last guy on the air said. But I don't know that 1 comes up a lot in a football game. It's probably something it's a little harder to track. I'm not taking that side, but we'll get to the Eagles. Just keep that thought. And also, I think somebody in the chat room said the last time that Kansas City was an underdog was in 2022 against Buffalo. I don't know what happened in that game. They were a 2.5-point underdog, according to what somebody else said, but we'll get to that as well. All right. First of all, let's take a look at the college. Who do you like?
Well, what I'm going to look at this week, Howard, are a couple of teams that were bowl teams last year that are going to be dogs today. But more importantly, they're taking on teams that are in off phony wins, and now they go favorite, and I think they can be exposed.
Hmm.
The first game is going to be Vanderbilt. We're going to take 3 points against South Carolina. This is a South Carolina football team that a lot was expected from this football season here. Lenora Sellers, their quarterback, he was in the Heisman Trophy talk early on, the third choice of all the other quarterbacks. He's really stunk up the joint.
Right.
You also take a look at Vanderbilt and what they've done. They got a quarterback in Diego Pavia. This kid transferred from New Mexico State.
Hmm.
Since he's been with Vanderbilt, he's been a road dog 5 times. He's cashed the ticket all 5 times. And you look at South Carolina, their body of work this season. Not only have they played poorly last week, but they got beat straight in the stats against South Carolina State. South Carolina State outyarded this football team. They haven't won the yards in any game they played so far. They're the deeply disappointed team in college football this year. And as long as they're not playing good football, I'll play Vanderbilt plus the points against South Carolina.
All right. The line's kind of short. You would think it's kind of short, but that's only because Vanderbilt's a better team and South Carolina obviously is not as good. All right. Who else do you like?
The other guy's going to be another short dog. We're going to play Duke plus the points against Tulane.
Hmm.
And aside from the way we set the table with this game, is number one, you have a Power Four conference dog to a Group of Five team. But what you're also looking at here is Tulane. They come off of a game in which they beat South Alabama 33-31, and were outyarded by the Jaguars in that football game. Those are what you call phony inside-out wins. They take the field thinking that they're a pretty nice football team, but they get exposed. And Duke, since Manny Diaz has been there, has been a really, really good road underdog. I think the better team, the better quality conference wins this game, Duke plus the points over Tulane.
And it's only a point and a half, though,
Yes,
right?
it is. Right.
It's only a
Yeah.
point and a half. All right. There's a game here in Philadelphia. I'm actually going to go to the game. Temple and Oklahoma. And Oklahoma's coming off a big win with another team on the other side. And I'm going to get into maybe teams that are caught in a little bit of a sandwich, which Oklahoma may be. It was pointed out to me last week by somebody, I'll just say somebody from Temple, that it's a time change and it's a noon game for Oklahoma, which sometimes figures into the equation. And Temple's getting 23 and a half. I mean, last year Oklahoma scored, I think, 55 on them. But who do you like in this game?
I think it's way too many points for Oklahoma to be laying, especially this time of the year with their conference opening game up next week as well. And there's a really, really mean handicapping angle inside the game that comes to support Temple in the contest, and is basically an underdog. What you're playing here is an underdog that's played really, really well in their football games, won the yards in their football games, and now they're taking this many points here. I have to grab the points in this football contest here. I think Oklahoma is better than they were last year. I don't think they're quite back yet. And I think there's too much of a look ahead in this football game. You got to grab the points with the team that's playing better football right now.
Okay. Is there a team that might be looking ahead, or is Oklahoma may be caught in a little bit of a sandwich between two
Well,
big
I don't
names?
know if Oklahoma is looking that far ahead. They do have the conference opener up next. But if there's any one game, and next week's card, by the way, for what it's worth, is rotten. Okay, the college football card. There's not a whole lot on that card. But the one team that could be caught looking ahead is Illinois. They're going to play Indiana next week in the Battle of the Eyes. Two really good quality Big Ten football teams here. And this is an Illinois football team that brings a lot back this year. A lot of people like them because of their returning production they have. But I'm not a big football fan of Brett Bielema here. I like the points in this football contest here. Illinois being a little bit overexposed, if you will, in the game. And the fact that what did they do? They beat Duke last week, 45-19, and they were out-yarded in the football contest. Again, another factor where teams come up with phony wins per se, and they do just that. I got to grab the points with Western Michigan in that game.
Okay. And that's a lot of points. It's what, 27 points?
Yes,
Something
it
like
is,
that.
right.
Yeah, 27 points. All right. One of the big games, I'm not a Notre Dame fan, and I usually try to ignore them. There's just something about Notre Dame that just doesn't set right with me. But whatever. They are a 6.5 point favorite That seems like it could be a tougher game than 6.5. What do you think?
I think it will be tougher than 6.5. I know Notre Dame's off a loss. Notre Dame does have a week of rest. The week of rest benefits them. Being off a loss does not. We talked about that last week on the show, where bowl teams last year who lose their season opening game struggle in game two. That's the role that the Irish will be in here today. I think they're too popular of a team right now. I got to grab the points with A&M, who I think can take this game right down to the wire.
And they're getting 6.5.
Yes, right.
There's Florida, the coach. I didn't realize that the coach is only 20-20 since he's been at Florida. That's not good enough. I heard this morning that if he gets fired at the end of the year, they have to pay him $20.5 million.
There's a lot of 20s in there, Howard.
$20.5 million, and they have to do it within 30 days of when he gets fired. He's got no concerns, no worries.
No.
But I don't know that I like the game.
Well, the press beats him up because obviously he hasn't produced, or the team hasn't produced. And as you mentioned, it's a fortune to buy him out. And I don't know if right now they give him a large contract, if they want to spend a fortune right now at this stage and point of the football season. What are you going to do moving forward, and who are you going to move forward with? I think it would be a point probably better discussed at the end of the season. But I do like their chances here today. They were upset last week as a favorite, as we all know. I think they go into LSU and really give this football team fits here. This is a Florida football team that they're either hot or cold. It depends on which way you turn the spigot with this team. They can go out and knock down the best team in the SEC, or they can lose to what used to have been the Vanderbilts. Now it's more like the Mississippi States, but they can lose to anybody. I think they go into LSU and give LSU a big, big battle there in Death Valley.
Yeah, I'm not a Brian Kelly fan either.
No.
So, but that's 6.5. Yeah, that could be. It almost looks too easy with the way Florida has been just so. But apparently,
still a lot of talent in that team with Florida, though.
Yeah, it's just. I say this tongue in cheek. Penn State's laying 47.5 against another high school team. And I say that because Villanova, I know the people from Villanova. But, why do you schedule a game? You schedule a game because Penn State knows they're going to win. Villanova gets on a national stage by playing Penn State. I think they're Division II. They're not Division I. I don't think they moved up. 47.5. Would you take the point? He hasn't covered yet this year. James Franklin hasn't covered. The alumni's got to be pissed.
Well, they're putting the heat on him big time, but I don't know if he's worth 47.5 points worth of laying lumber like that in a game like this. My goodness. I think the NCAA should, when it gets to be bowl decision playoff time, they should penalize these teams that schedule these layup games. And, all they do is win the wars, I guess, in the polls per se. But you can't go out and schedule these high schools, as you call them, and expect them to enhance your chances to make the college football playoffs. That's what James Franklin is good at. He's a cripple shooter. He's got this team on tap here today. I don't know anything about Villanova. I'll be perfectly honest with you, but I couldn't lay the points like this. That's way too many points.
47. What's the highest number you've ever seen? There had to be a 50 somewhere.
But there's been a few in the 50s, yes.
That is just absolutely mind-boggling. Let me see if there's Air Force. Is Utah State bad or is Air Force good? I look at that game and say Air Force is favored on the road. A military team favored on the road is not a common thing.
Well, Utah State is rebuilding right now. The good thing is Bronco Mendenhall is back coaching over there. That will probably end up helping them in the long run. Air Force comes off a real bad season last year. They are what you call a mission team this year. But I'm not crazy about laying points like that. Bronco Mendenhall has been around the block too many times, I think.
Right.
And a win like this sort of kind of puts his program right back where it needs to be.
All right. Let's take a look at the NFL. We'll save the Eagles. Who do you like in the NFL?
Well, I'm going to focus on two teams that lost last week that I'm going to say that will need wins to not start the season 0-2. And in our coffee club newsletter this morning here, I did an expose on there about how teams that open up the season 0-2 in the National Football League do. Well, you go back to 2002 when they realigned the divisions and all that. There have been a total of 190 teams in the NFL that have started the season 0-2. How many of those, Howard, do you think made the playoffs?
3.
Well, 18. It's still 9.5%. Your chances are really diminished, okay, if you start the season 0-2. And I'm going to play on two dogs here that if they lose will be 0-2, and I think they'll be fighting for their lives. The first is going to be the New York Jets against Buffalo. And we saw what Buffalo did last week, that big, huge come from behind win.
Yeah.
I think they could still be on a cloud after doing something like that. The Jets come off of a real tough loss in which they won the yards in the football game handily. This is a big, big football game for the New York Jets here. I think they can take Buffalo down straight up on the scoreboard. They're the first of the two teams that I like to avoid being 0-2.
Buffalo's defense doesn't seem like it's good enough. And they gave up. They should have lost the game last week if it wasn't for that fumble at the end. You don't lose a 15-point lead with just over 7 minutes left in the game and then lose the game. And they lost it in regulation. That was
Yes.
disgraceful for Baltimore. And Baltimore's a good team. But I don't like Buffalo's defense. There's just something about that.
That's
I
their
love their
Achilles heel,
offense.
yes.
I
Right.
love their offense, but I don't love their defense. So you think the Jets, who scored some points last week, uh, can kind of hang in there in
I
this
think
game.
they take advantage of the situation Buffalo's in this week, yes.
All right, who else do you like?
The other guy's going to be the Atlanta Falcons this week. I rode them into the loser circle last week and took a real hard loss with that football team. Should have won the game, won the yards handily in the contest, 100 yards in the game, but lost the contest. They're going to take on Minnesota, who is much like Buffalo, comes off of a big come-from-behind win
Mm-hmm.
last week, and I think they can get exposed here this week as well. Atlanta may be, I'm going to maybe stretch this out a little bit here and say the better team. I know there's a lot of love for Minnesota there right now with J.J.
Yep.
McCarthy, but that was his first start. Well, let's see what he does in game number 2 here. And I'm a big Michael Penix fan. I think this kid is going to make a lot of noise in the National Football League, and I think it'll start this year, and I think it'll start this week against Minnesota here. I like Atlanta in the upset here.
Yeah, I kind of like that side too because Minnesota got lucky. They scored 21 points in the last quarter
Yes.
to win the game. They probably shouldn't have won the game. A line that I think is really short because I thought Denver was a good team, and they may be a good team, but Indianapolis might be better than we thought they were because Daniel Jones, he changed. He got away from a bad offensive line. I'm not in love with Daniel Jones, but I think Daniel Jones is better than who the Giants have now in Russell Wilson. But nonetheless, is that line kind of telling you something that the Colts might be the side?
Well, like you say, it's so short. They want you to come and lay the points with Denver here. I'm not a big, huge Denver Bronco fan. I respect Sean Payton for his body
Yeah,
of work,
yeah.
but I think Bo Nix could have sophomore blues this year. He really, really performed well last football season here. Now there's game film on him, and I think that they could tear that apart, especially at this level here. The Colts would love nothing better to start the season 2-0. They dedicated the game last week to Robert Ursay. I think that continues, that momentum does with them here as well. I like the Colts in the mini upset here as well.
You know what? I'm not a fan of Cincinnati. I love the quarterback. Obviously, is terrific, but the team's not good enough. Jacksonville is better, but Cincinnati at home only 3.5. Do you like a side in that game?
I like Jacksonville, and I think they're going to be a team to watch this year. I think this could be the year that Trevor Lawrence finally breaks out, and it's long past due. He was the number 1 pick of the whole draft and highly celebrated. But he's got a head coach there now in Liam Cohen, who was a quarterback in college football, and he set all kind of passing records. I think it was at UMass that he did. He threw for I don't know, 50,000 yards in his career or something. He's just what Trevor Lawrence needs at Jacksonville, this new head coach there. And I'm with you. I think Cincinnati can be exposed, especially defensively. They come off a game they should not have won against the Browns. They lost by over 100 yards in the contest. And now they're laying points into a team that I think will be a sneaky, under-the-radar team in Jacksonville this year.
You know what? I'm not a big fan of the Steelers because reputation is what they seem to ride on. They're a 3.5-point favorite, which I guess is right because Seattle's a little better team. Do you like a side in that game?
I really don't. I'm not a big Pittsburgh fan here. And I just don't like the situation for Seattle having to go over to the East Coast here this week. And I think Seattle's going to be a little bit of an improved football team here too. But I think Pittsburgh has some holes, and I think they're going to be exposed. And you get a quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers, who starts touting himself after the game and telling people, "I told you, my days aren't finished." And it was all about Aaron Rodgers last week. Come on, man! It's a team game, and I don't think the players dig that in him, and they're going to see that and realize just that. A tough call for me here. Put a gun to my head. I probably take the points.
All right, now there's three West Coast teams that I see that are playing 1 o'clock games, which is not an easy thing. You got the Rams at Tennessee. You got Seattle at Pittsburgh. Who are the other? 49ers at New Orleans, all 1 o'clock. All 1 o'clock games. Now, New Orleans is only a 2-hour difference, even though
Right.
it's a 1 o'clock game, and that's the only one I see. But if you went against all the teams, the West Coast teams playing at 1 o'clock, you think you'd win 2 out of 3?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is handicap those games and then decide if I'm going to take all three. But it's a good question. Would I win more than I would lose? Probably. The game I like the best out of the whole group would be Tennessee to take down
Right.
the Rams. I think the Rams can be exposed, particularly this week. They didn't play any starters at all in the preseason. They finally got the rust off last week. And Tennessee played a lot better last year than their record shows. They were the only team in the National Football League that improved their yards offensively and defensively, but went backwards straight up and against the spread. That's always an indicator of a team that will improve the next year, and that would be the Tennessee Titans.
All right, we're going to take a look at the Eagles. And I brought up a point earlier before you came on. Kansas City played their starters, even the last preseason game. Do you think, does it show up in picking a team early in the season when a team didn't play any of their starters, as the Eagles did not, and Kansas City did? And that Kansas City lost to a good team last week. Do you, first of all, who do you like in the game, and is that a factor?
Well, I think it's a great point you bring out there because it's all coach's philosophy. Sean McVay's is against Andy Reid, but Andy likes what he does and McVay likes what he does. I don't think they're going to change, their MO that way here in week number 2. But in this football game, I have to stay at home with Kansas City in the football contest. You're talking about not only revenge, you're talking about Super Bowl revenge, humiliating Super Bowl revenge. They were beat to a pulp in that Super Bowl game and embarrassed. The Kansas City Chiefs were in the contest here. You look at Super Bowl teams, what did they do in game 2 of the football season? They're just 14-25 against the spread. That's not a good number at all.
No.
Philadelphia themselves struggles in game 2. They're just 1-7 to the spread the last 8 years.
Wow.
And one of your listeners on before me, a very astute caller he was, by the way, he brought out the point of how good Patrick Mahomes is as an underdog. 15-2 to the spread in his career, taking points. I have to stay at home with Kansas City. It's not an anti-negative Philadelphia thing. It's all about situations, and the situation clearly points to Kansas City here.
You know what? The best team doesn't always win, and I think the Eagles are a better team than Kansas City. I think Kansas City's on a little bit of a slide, but desperation is a factor. Andy Reid's a factor, and maybe the fact that those players have had game conditions before they even get to this game could be a factor as well.
Unquestionably.
I actually like. I don't think Kansas City's a better team, but I think they win the game on Sunday.
I don't think they'll win their division this year, Howard, but nonetheless,
No.
This is a big game for them this Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. They're done if they lose this game. They are done.
Another 0-2, by the way. They would.
Yep.
Last place, Kansas City, by the way.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? All right. If people have interest in your services, 800-321-7777 on the internet at playbooksports.com. Mark, you have a great weekend. The Eagles next week. Eagles play the Rams next week. How about the Rams might stay? Actually, the Rams might stay on the East Coast. I don't know what they're going to do.
I think that's the trend right now for those East Coast, West Coast games.
Yeah, why would you fly home and then fly back to the East Coast?
I'm sure that the coach doesn't care about how much money the owner has to spend to stay. Right.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, Mark, you have a great weekend. And we'll talk to you next week.
Hey, enjoy the games, Howard. Be well and take care. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. All right, take care. All right, we're going to get back to the callers. I think that nitwit, that loser, that complete stone stiff Cowboy Jim is there. But before we get to to him and the other callers, I just want to tell you that I am honored to be presented by this show, Stillwell Financial Advisors. And Jeff Stillwell is the man. He absolutely is. Every time I talk to him, it's like I learn something. And you need to learn something too about your setting yourself up for your financial future. And Jeff Stillwell absolutely, positively, 100% can help you do that. Give Jeff a call, 732 343 0813. All right. I'm going to give you a line here before we get to the callers. He who hesitates is lost. And Audi Westchester right now still has and still have some electric vehicles that they have to sell, but they don't have many because this sale has gone off the charts for them. People are taking advantage of a price that won't last. It might last another couple of weeks, or when the inventory is gone. He who hesitates is lost. Audi Westchester, the Q6, Audi 2025 Q6 e-tron, $499 a month, or the Audi Q4 e-tron for $399 a month. You'll need $5,295 down for the Q6, $4,156 down for the Q4 plus taxes and registration fees. You got to stop by Audi Westchester. Don't hesitate, because you're going to say either it gets to the end of the month or October 1st and say, it's not there anymore. You want to take advantage of it. You do want to take advantage of it. Their address, 1421 Wilmington Pike. Don't wait. Like I said, this special is not going to last long. Comes down to a time period and inventory, because so many people are taking advantage of this situation. Special offer won't last long. Lease a new 2025 Audi Q6 e-tron for $499 a month, or a Audi Q4 e-tron for $399 a month. Check them out on their internet, AudiWestchester.com. And you want to take care of your property, and you want to have fun when you have guests over. Piazza Property Pros can help you do that. You see how nice they can make a property, build things. You get the fire pit. You can get a hot tub. You can get all kinds of things built. And if you don't want all that, you don't have to get all that. If you want a pool, Piazza Property Pros can do it for you. Absolutely, positively. 25 years of experience, tells you what you need to know. He who hesitates is lost. You waited all summer. You didn't get the pool done. You didn't get some other things done. You were thinking about it. Well, if you're thinking about it, just give them a call, whether it's landscaping, excavation, fencing, pool maintenance. Piazza Property Pros. And they'll work within your budget. Here's the phone number, 610-566-2608. Schedule a free consultation, 610-566-2608, or check them out on their internet, piazzaoutdoor.com. All right. As I said, I think the Eagles, not that they're not the better team. They are. You know what? Before we get the Cowboy nitwit, I want to tell you the winner last week of a pair of Oakley sunglasses. And this was kind of it was an interesting response. The question was, I asked Joe West on Wednesday night, Joe, have you thrown anybody out before the game started? And he said yes. He says Bobby Wine for the Phillies brought out the lineup card. He argued about something, and once he argued, he threw him out. Then the manager, Dallas Green, joined into the conversation, and you threw him out. Joe, do we have the winner of the Oakley sunglasses? There it is, Earl Trombetti. Earl Trombetti, you had, of the correct answers, you were selected at random, and congratulations, you won a pair of Oakley sunglasses. And I will make sure I get them out to you. And thanks for watching the program, and thanks for joining in. All right, we'll have a question at the end of the program. All right. So now, is he still on the line? I made him wait long enough. Cowboy Jim, he likes to be abused. What a moron. Look, he's getting ready to go to work. So his hair's now
Hurry
done.
up. Come on. I have to go to work here. I
I
got a
know.
flight to catch.
I know.
I got to go to
good.
Kansas City.
I
Come
know.
on.
Well, you know what? You can hang on the tail, run down the runway and catch the plane. I actually saw a player do that. It was
What?
Vince Young when he was with, I think it was with Tennessee.
Tennessee.
He was late for the flight, and Jeff Fisher was the coach. He says, "Let's go." And he's
Yeah.
running down the runway. I don't know if they ever stopped for him. I think he had to get his own flight. All right.
Well,
By the way, your Cowboys, we know they lost.
yes.
It's sad. They'll beat the Giants.
They'll beat the Giants. They'll beat the
Yeah,
Giants.
They'll beat
But
the
what,
Giants as long as Russell Wilson's the quarterback.
what
There's a lot
do
of
the
teams.
Giants? What do the Giants see in Russell Wilson? Is he just there to just help the rookie quarterback? I mean,
Well,
why?
because they don't think the rookie quarterback's ready yet. Because as soon as they go to Dart, was it Jackson Dart? Is his first name Jackson Dart?
Jackson Dart.
Spelled differently. As soon as they go to Jackson Dart, Russell Wilson's career is over. Not his season, his career.
But his career, it's over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's over. So
Yeah.
they're kind of waiting on that. But the Cowboys are going. But the Cowboys were better last week. But I told you, I thought that it would be a close game.
Right. It was.
They probably
It was-
should have.
Right.
They probably should have won. They probably should have.
They should have won. They
if
should
that
have won.
Stiff CeeDee Lamb catches that ball right
Well,
in his hands. Right.
No,
in his
the
hands.
fumble by Sanders.
Miles.
Miles Sanders was the fumble like that. Hey, so listen, I'm going to miss you today. I'm going to miss you, but my back won't miss you because of your heavy bag and that's full of makeup and everything like that. So I'm going to miss you today.
It's not full of makeup.
And are you cleaning out your attic again with your poster of Mike Schmidt? All
I'm
that
not
kind of
cleaning out. It's a great autograph. It's just I had a couple of them and I figured I'd offer it up for somebody.
And how do you guys make a prediction so early in the season? Like, if they go 0-2, their season's over.
It's not a prediction, you moron. Did you hear what he said? It's not a prediction. It's based on fact, on numbers. Since they changed, and have all these teams, out of the 190 teams, only 18 have made the playoffs.
All right. Well, there's 15 more games to go after this. 15 more. So stop saying if it's 0-2.
No, Kansas City knows. Kansas City knows they're if they lose.
No, their
they're
dynasty
not going to win
over.
the division.
Yeah.
They're not going to win it anyway because I think the Chargers are a better team. But
the Chargers are frauds. That was fraudulent. They're frauds. And the dynasty is over with the Chiefs. The dynasty is over. I think the Eagles are. I think the Eagles are going to blow them out. I think they're going to blow them out, and that's my prediction. So
okay, did you tell them that when you fly to Dallas, are you going to tell them that you're going to pick the Cowboys that game?
I will not say a word about, and I'm not allowed to say anything. You know that I'm not allowed to say anything. I can't even say good luck, which I will say. Yeah.
Well, you can say good luck.
No,
but
you
can't
don't
say it. But you're disingenuous.
You can't say good luck to the players. You can't. You're not allowed to. So I don't. I just.
Oh, is that right? You've been. I never knew that.
You're not allowed to say anything. Well, I'm not allowed to say anything.
You know what? Just in honor of you, that rolling bag, that carry-on bag, I'm going to empty out and just going to keep it empty, and I'm going to carry it around for a day and make sure it's empty because I know you don't have to carry it up the steps.
All right. Well, I got to go to work, so enough of this. Enough. So goodbye, King. All right.
Hey,
goodbye.
See you
Cowboy.
Later. It's about time you got dressed up for this program. It's about time you got dressed up. All right. Again, if you want to join the program, and we'll find out if there's others there. I don't think the Eagles are. I think the Eagles are a better team than Kansas City. I absolutely think they're a better team. I see TM. I'm not trying to sound mean or anything like that, but Cowboy Jim sounds like an angry, closeted man. Whatever he is, whatever he is, it's just whatever he is. It's just he is what he is. He asked Pat. You have to agree with. It's a tough game for the Eagles. I didn't realize. Well, the Eagles are not good in the last 8, they're 1-7 in second games of the season. Who would have figured that? I never thought that. That's an interesting number. It's not it's a number. It just, but I think the Eagles beat the Rams. That's 2 straight weeks playing away from home. That's next week. I'm looking at next week. I think they beat the Rams. It's just they got to beat the Rams because it could be a tiebreaker. Chris has a score here: 2017 Eagles over Kansas City. That means you like the under. I don't know about that. Just Dallas Goedert's out. You may have heard about that. He is out of the game. Dallas Goedert hurt this early in the season. That's not a good sign. I like Grant Calcaterra. I do like him, but he's not as good as Dallas Goedert. By the way, if you're betting props, which I don't like prop bets, I don't like them a little bit. I don't even know what the number is. I don't know what the number is for AJ Brown's catches, but I would take the over because I think the Eagles are going to try to keep him happy. He didn't say anything, and I give him credit that he didn't say anything, but he wasn't happy, I'm sure, with 1 target and 1 catch last week. He just was not. It just. He wasn't happy, so I would take the over there. I see a comment here. What do you think of the Eagles offering a king's ransom for Parsons? Well, that was a report that they offered a lot. I don't believe the report. I think when you see things on social media, and I don't believe 50% of it. So I don't think they were going to. He's a pass rusher, but he's not good at stopping the run. And the Eagles know that because they always have played him well, and they've kind of neutralized him. So it's just I don't believe that. But I just don't believe that. By the way, the Flyers played a rookie game last night. The rookies play. But in the preseason, the preseason starts, I think, the 21st for the Flyers. You know, what a great, and we mentioned it on the last show, contradiction in philosophies. And I'll say this, between the Flyers and the Eagles. Nick Sirianni chooses not to say anything when asked a question that has any kind of anything. Just, I don't know that there's many questions that he does answer. But regardless of that, they go the opposite way. That's his philosophy. That's what he chooses to do. Where the Flyers and their chairman and CEO, Dan Hilferty, and Keith Jones agreed with it, said in their opening news conference last week, and I was surprised when I'm sitting there and I'm hearing this. He says he doesn't think they set goals this year, and making the playoffs is not one of their goals. They're realistic. And if they make the playoffs, it's a bonus. Not that they don't want to make the playoffs, but if they make the playoffs, it's a bonus. It's really different. And the Sixers, hell, they never tell the truth. They never tell the truth. And do you believe that? I've heard less energy, for good reason, less energy for the Sixers than I've ever heard. Than I've heard, maybe less energy than maybe the last 15 years going into the season. Not that far away from the season. Joel Embiid will not be ready to start the season, but they're not going to tell you that. They are struggling like hell, the Sixers, to sell tickets. A friend of mine had bought group tickets last year, and the rep from the Sixers calls my friend up every week. The top level end zone, $94 a piece for, I think it was a bunch of Girl Scouts. $94 a piece for the top level end zone. No wonder they don't sell tickets, but they are struggling. I don't know that anybody out there is interested right now in the Sixers. Hey, Joe, do we have anybody on the line? All right. Well, we put up a graphic on how to connect, and we'll see if people figured it out. Basically, when you go on the link, when it says would like to access your microphone and camera, you got to hit allow. Now, then you can turn the camera off if you want. It's ridiculous. You know what? I'm going to try Joe here in a second, but I want to read this comment. Al, the accordionist. Did I see the clip of Adam Silver telling the fans who can't afford streaming services to watch NBA games to just watch highlights instead? Can you imagine that? You have outpriced a lot of people who don't want to pay for all the streaming services. Adam Silver he's a terrible commissioner. Yes, man. Somebody said $94 for Sixers tickets. Yeah, that's all the way up top in the end zone. $94. Yeah. Yeah. How can you tell fans to just watch highlights? They're not the only league that's going to streaming services. They're all doing it right now. They are all doing it. Whatever. Yeah, let's try Barry, who seems like he's going to be okay. Hey, Barry, what's up? Barry just chickened out. Is Joe still there? Yeah, let's see if Joe's figured this out. Joe, have you figured this out yet? I'm telling you, this is not that hard. You got to make sure that there's not a red line through the microphone. All right. Yeah, it's just, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. All right. This week, first of all, coming up after the show, I'm going to post my picks for your donations. Brandywine and the donations go to Brandywine Valley SPCA and Providence Animal Center. Now, understand that they have adoption events going on periodically. Check their websites, and when I know of one, I know Providence has one coming up soon, and I'll mention that. But all right, to win the Mike Schmidt autograph poster, and because Cowboy Jim doesn't appreciate it, he's not going to win. That is Mike Schmidt's autograph. That's not imprinted on there. That's his autograph. Answer the question that I'll give you in a second to the contact page of howardeskin.com by midnight on Tuesday, September 16th, and we will announce the winner on the Wednesday show at 7:30. We're live on X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and you're notified by YouTube as soon as we go live if you subscribe. So I suggest you do that. And for the people with the correct answers, you will have a chance selected at random to win the Mike Schmidt autograph poster. All right, here's the question. And Marc Lawrence mentioned that. And actually, you can check it. But Marc Lawrence mentioned it. What the Eagles' record is in Game 2 of the season. Game 2 of the season over the last 8 years. What is their record? Now you can actually go back and check, but it would be easy if you just listened to Marc Lawrence. For the person that has the correct answer, and you are selected at random, you will win that. Thanks for the people. Ted, I'm working on a couple of people for Wednesday night. I should have it nailed down by Monday. A couple of people. I'm working on a couple of people. But obviously, we want to talk football on Wednesday because it'll be after a big Eagles game. It may be an Eagles loss. Listen, the Eagles are not going to go undefeated. Just understand that. the Eagles are not going to go undefeated. So if you understand that, you know there's going to be some games that they lose. And this game is a tough game. It's a tough game. Hey, they're the better team, but the better team does not always win. What about the 5-second? Somebody put out, what about the 5-second clip of Embiid actually on the court practicing? Should I mortgage my home for a season ticket plan for the 5 seconds? I just would be shocked if he plays the first game of the season. But that's why nobody talks about the Sixers now, and the season starting soon. Thanks for everybody that joined the program. Thanks to Joe Gangemi for technically putting this all together. Thanks to Tony Anastasia for all the graphics that she does put together. 17-0. Do you think the Eagles are going to lose 7? No, I can't. Oh, the Eagles are going to go 17-0. Hey, Larry, the Eagles are not going to go 17-0. Trust me on this. They're not going to go 17-0. Thanks for joining the program. Thanks for joining the Howard Eskin Show. The King Speaks, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. You know, I'm going to say this, and please, I don't want to be political because I can't get into politics on these shows. But the governor of Utah made a comment about the internet. And I'm going to leave you with this. He said, it's nasty. People should socially, not the internet, social media. People should go off it for a day. Try going off it for a day. Here's what I'm going to say. And you got to understand the people that are really negative on social media, like really negative, that attack people and go after people. You should change. Let's change our mentality on social media. I know it's hard for some people because a lot of these people have no life, and that's the way they get off, is just having vicious comments about people. Try, if you just don't press send. If you're going to send a really harsh, you can be critical of a team or a player, but don't be vicious about it. Don't be vicious and don't be nasty towards people, towards players, towards when people come at me and say nasty things. Think about it. Sometimes it's better. Just don't press send. Everybody have a great weekend. Temple, would Temple shock the world if they beat Oklahoma? Yes. Will they beat Oklahoma? No. Could they keep it close? Yes. Everybody have a great weekend. I'll see you on Wednesday. Take care.